Last month we walked through pure luxury in the real development. This month we're back in my world where I feel a lot more comfortable. Well, let's get our hands dirty. Before we get too far into this episode, I want to thank you for your involvement in the last episode. We were walking through the 84-foot reel development. It was our most viewed episode ever, and you guys had a tremendous response to us. We appreciate that. One of the questions that came up a lot was, what is that big tube in the middle of the engine room? Well, we're in the cockpit of the builder's choice, and let's go take a look at one right now. In the last episode, I just kind of skirted around the sonar tube. Now that we've been through the heart of the boat, let's go take a look at the brains of this whole operation. Just because there are just too many things to cover in an 8-minute segment. So today we're going to look at it a little bit closer. This is a heavy-duty fiberglass tube, and as you can see by this ram, this thing goes down and retracts. What that does, it gives a big advantage over regular fish finders and scopes in that it drops below the lowest part of the boat and you get a 360-degree view. This thing is built on the center line so we can have a good structural tie-in, because as it goes down, the resistance on this whole operation increases a lot. In this boat, this has been added on after the fact. On newer boats, it gets put in at the design level if the customer so desires. That was a good question, by the way. If you would like to have your questions answered, leave a comment on this video. We will do our very best to get back to you with answers. We are down forward in the build space of hull 65, and there's a lot of behind-the-scene things that are happening here. In a couple of weeks, this will be finished painted, all the plumbing will be done, the floor will be on, and you'll never see this again. There are 4 tanks in this space. A fuel tank in the center, 2 water tanks, and a waste tank. All of these tanks have a lot of plumbing. In fact, there are 8 vent lines between these 4 tanks. All of these vent lines have to have a continuous rise so that they do not create a vacuum lock and have trouble either taking the fuel out or pumping in. So here you can see the starboard side fuel tank vent runs through a solid pipe so it doesn't sag, and then it's loomed up nicely here. So here we see a bundle of water tank and waste tank vent lines. They're coming up to here. They'll get distributed to their own directions. Once again, because of the changing nature of the trim of the boat, each tank has 2 vents, one going port, one going starboard, so that nothing gets airlocked and vacuum locked. The other part that is also gravity affected is the drain lines. So we want to make sure that under any circumstances, it is always flowing downhill to the tank. But right now, we're looking at Pace Age, which was a kind of a hybrid Jarrett Bay Gary Davis boat. It's 20 years old, and it is here for a total refit. It's got new motors. There will be many other things done on this boat, including paint. It'll be a new boat when it's all said and done. But let's take a quick look at the mezzanine. There's a few things here that are instructive. All of these boxes will have gutters, and those gutters will all drain, and you can see the pipes here that are preset for the drainage. That's just one of those things you have to think about in advance. There will be chiller boxes that'll all feed from the engine room. And then as you can see, they've added a little bit of style point from the old straight mezzanine, giving it a little bit of contour out here on the edge. It just kind of livens it up. It also creates a little bit of a nice step when you're transitioning from cockpit, mezzanine, side deck to dock. We have a lot of exciting projects coming up. Be sure to stay tuned. We'll catch you next time.